Hello everybody, welcome back to Gruesome's Garage. It's been a bit since I made a video, so I wanted to give everybody a quick update on where we are with the project 1976 Pontiac Firebird formula. And I've changed directions a little bit on where I'm going to go with the car, so I wanted to update you on that. First of all, we got the rear clip off the car. And here's the bumper with the core support and stuff. As you can see, this car's been painted a couple times. The paint's cracked, and this is all going to have to be stripped. And I will do a video on that when I strip it. I've read about chemical strippers. They don't work good on urethane, especially older urethane, even though there's some that are specifically made for it. So we're probably going to have to, unfortunately, sand all this off. Down here, I got to clean this stuff up. It's a little rusty. The fuel tank, we do have in primer. I'm waiting for some warmer weather to spray a couple coats of galvanized paint on it, make it look like a new tank again. As I said in previous videos, that tank is in really nice shape. Now you notice over there, the forlorn Turbo Hydromatic 350, poor transmission. Unfortunately, in Gruesome's Garage, sometimes we change directions and we decide we don't want the brain from this jar, we want the brain from that jar. So, with that being said, I know on an original video, I said I wasn't going to put a standard in this car. Well, I'm putting a manual transmission in it. I kind of looked into it. It's really very easy to do on an F-body, second generation General Motors product. This is a Borg-Warner, shifting is futile. Borg-Warner ST10 that's actually date coded for a 1976 Pontiac. I didn't plan it that way, it was just luck. And came with a bell housing, and it's going to have to be gone through. It does shift in and out of gear fine. It came with a shifter. The handle will need to be re-chromed, but the price was right. So, and I can use the Turbo Hydromatic 350 cross member. There's a few things I'll have to change. I will have to get a Z-bar, transmission hump, clutch rod, pedals, things like that. Not a big deal. Now, when I was buying this transmission, the guy was a Chevy guy, but he had some Pontiac parts. He had a 67 convertible and a 68 convertible, and he had laying in the back of the 67 convertible this guy. And it was offered to me for $150, and I had a feeling if I didn't take it, it was going to end up in a scrapyard. Now, this is a Pontiac 400. I paid $150 for it, which I don't think was too bad. It's worth that in parts. However, and if you're an expert on Pontiacs, this is, and I highlighted it, this is the 500-557 block. This block is the block that they lightened up in 1975, and this continued right up until 78 when they stopped the production run of the 400s. Except for the, in 78, they released on what they call the XX block, which was actually the old block because they were having trouble with some of the main webs cracking. This block, it's very tough to read the date code, but it was cast in 1977. The guy said it went with that transmission. I find that hard to believe. Two reasons. A, it doesn't have a pilot bearing in the end of the crank. And B, if this had a 4-speed on it, this area right here would have clutch dust, and it doesn't. Now, somebody, when they put this together, put a lot of effort into it. It's got the APR head bolts. It's got these neat wire looms with a little Pontiac arrowhead on it. Edelbrock valve covers. It's got an Edelbrock torquer intake. It's got these Allen head bolts with these neat little sleeves on it. Chrome alternator. Holley fuel pump. So somebody put some effort into this engine. However, I checked it up there. It did turn over, but I didn't do a full 360-degree rotation. You turn this crank about maybe 180 degrees one way or the other, it binds, and it binds hard. Something inside the motor's broke. I don't know what it is. I wasn't really planning on reusing the motor. I just kind of bought it for parts, you know, things like that. But I want to perform an autopsy on it. Since this is Gruesome's Garage, I want to see what happened to it. because somebody obviously put some effort into this motor. Broke, maybe dropped a valve, maybe a rod come loose. I don't know. We'll have to take it apart to see. Now, when I'm talking about these main webs on these Pontiac motors, I want to kind of explain what I'm talking about in case you're not familiar with the Pontiac engines. We'll walk over here to my 73 350 block. Notice these main webs? They're pretty thick. On that block over there, they actually thin these out for to make the engine lighter. In 1975, I think they were kind of figured they were past a high performance era. They weren't going to be building any more Ram Air 3s or Ram Air 4s. So they wanted to make the engines lighter. I think Pontiac was trying to hold on to their own engine line. I think they were seeing the handwriting on the wall that eventually GM was going to adopt the philosophy of Ford Motor Company and Chrysler, where multiple divisions were going to be using the same engines, and that is what eventually happened. I think that's why you saw the 301. They were trying to come up with a competitor to the 305 Chevy engine that was lightweight and could be put in the, cars like the Grand Prix, the Cutlasses, things like that. But that's where you get the thinner block. And like I said, they were notorious if you hopped them up for breaking these main webs on that 500 557 block. They are good, I've heard, up to like 400 horsepower. You start pushing them past that and really beating on them, they break. So we'll try to take that one apart and just see what happened to it. I'll make a video about it, short one. But that's where we are with the project right now. And I will make some more upcoming videos. It has been real busy the last few months. I helped my daughter move back from Florida. And I took a new job. After 32 years at the same employer, I went to a completely different industry. And I'm learning it all from the ground up. So it's kind of funny. I was actually planning on retiring at the end of this year, but I'm not retired yet. So this is still just a hobby. So take care, everybody. Have a Merry Christmas and God bless.